Hello everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my weekly afternoon tea time and a card. I can see you guys all coming on. I'm just going to give it a few seconds. So this week is my Stamp With Me class. For those of you that are on Facebook, I listed all the products and layers that you need for class today, and I'm hoping some of you guys will be stamping along with me. If you are, let me know. I'm going to go slow if anyone's stamping with me. I think I had a couple of you guys say that you were getting your stuff ready. So today I'm using the Turtle Friends stamp set with the coordinating turtle builder punch. We're going to actually create 6 cards. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad you're here. Okay, just a few announcements. Or not announcements. I just want to show you this bundle in the catalog because they got the cutest cards and they're on page 56 of the annual catalog. Now, when you guys are lacking for ideas, make sure you go to your catalog because everything is listed by stamp set. And you can always use the layouts of the cards and just use something different if you don't have the stamp set. This is my go-to when I'm having just a mental freeze and I want to create and I don't know what to create. I just go to my catalog and pick out something I want to use for a layout or the color combinations. There's different ways of getting inspiration. Okay, we're going to get started. I want to show you the designer paper I'm using today. It's the In the Wild paper. I'm going to bring out the sheets. Both patterns. Now, one thing about this designer paper pack, yes, some of the sheets have lions and tigers on them, but guess what? If you don't like the animal side, there's always side number 2. And you're going to see that on all the pages I'm going to show you. Same thing here. If you don't like the tigers, look how pretty this background paper is. Here's number 3. I really like the next one, number 4. So the cards I'm going to show you, I used one pattern. Today I'm going to use this pattern. The one that I actually used for the cards that you'll see pre-made was this sheet. One more to go. And this is number 6. Again, it's got the tigers or cougars or whatever this is. Some type of cat, along with the pattern paper. It's always the same with Halloween designer paper. A lot of you guys don't do Halloween, but guess what? When you flip it over to side number 2, there's always pretty paper on side number 2 to use. Now, let me bring in some of the products I'm using. For inks, I'm using Evening Evergreen and Bumblebee, coordinating ink to the paper. I have the So Succulent Open Weave ribbon. I actually have a little piece here I want to use first. And then again, this is the paper I used on the cards that you'll see that are completed. So this is both sides. But today I'm going to use this one just to mix it up a little bit. I'm using the bark embossing folder. And then all of my other layers I listed on the Facebook page, so you guys should have everything you need. I'm going to do one card at a time. We're actually going to cut the designer paper, one of the first steps. But the thing I want to do first, just so we'll get the die cutting and embossing machine out of the way, you can bring out the 6 cardstock layers. This is Soft Succulent 5 by 3 3/4. We're going to emboss all of these just so we can get the embossing out of the way. So go ahead and bring your machine in. And I'm going to show you how I cheat when I do this. Now, I do a lot of card kits, and I'm going to tell you how I cheat. I actually... Let me turn this a little bit so you guys can see it. I actually do 2 at the same time. It presses in there in the cardstock enough that you can do 2 at the same time. So we're going to do this 3 times. Hello everyone, I'm so glad you're here. And I'll show you both of them. And you'll see that there's no difference because I did two at the same time. So there's two. I'm gonna do this 3 times. And then we're gonna start creating with the first card. So here's my second. Run through the machine. Again, I got 2, so that's 4. And then the last 2, and I always make sure they're lined up together. Sorry, I can't get my whole machine in the picture. And this is my last one. So look how quickly I embossed 6 sheets of cardstock. Okay, and there's 5 and 6. Now I can go ahead and move this out of the way. And I'm going to put all of these right here because they're all done. So is anyone stamping with me today? Just give me a thumbs up if you are. If you're not, I'm just going to go through these cards. If you're stamping with me, I'll slow things down. Mary is asking, the mini emboss machine, will that work? Let me get my machine, I'll show you. So you'll see that this will work in there, but not with the larger embossing folders. You still have to get the embossing folders that are smaller. So yes, it would work to do 2 at a time. In the mini, if you have this size, you wouldn't be able to go any further than 3 3/4. That just fits in there. But these embossing folders are smaller. Let me see, let me measure. These are actually almost 3 1/2. They're 3 3/8 wide. So that's how wide you would have to make this layer. Okay, the next step. So I see some thumbs up. So I think people are stamping along with me. And I'm assuming that all of your 6 panels are embossed. So let's go ahead and cut our designer paper. Now this is a 1-sheet wonder that we're doing. We're actually creating 6 cards today. Okay, I just want to make sure. Looks like a lot of you guys are just watching. Dolores is stamping. Okay. So now you're going to take your designer paper and we're going to cut it in half at 3. So there's our first step, and I'm going to lay everything right here. And as we cut, we're going to lay them across so you'll know which one to use when I tell you which one for each card. So using the top section, we're going to cut at 2 inches. So there's number 1. Then we're going to cut at 3 inches. So 2 inches, 3 inches, and that should leave you with a 1-inch strip. I'm just going to hold off just a little bit. Okay, now the 1-inch strip, you're going to turn it this way and you're going to cut 3 1-inch squares. So there's 1. I just want to make sure this isn't going to move on me. Okay, so there's our 3 little 1-inch squares, 1 inch by 1 inch. So that's your top row of your 3-inch strip. I'm just going to hold off for a little bit to make sure everybody's caught up on cutting the designer paper. I have a really hard time going slow. Okay, the next one. So your next 3-inch piece, we're going to cut at 2 1/4. But we're not done. We're going to put this one aside. The one on the right, we're going to put aside. So this one is 2¼ inches wide. You're going to turn it and cut it in half at 1½. So there's those two pieces right here. So far, so good. I know a lot of you guys are just watching, so I hope you'll try this. This is another one sheet wonder. It's a different one than what I've done before. Okay, now we're going to do 1 inch twice. I'm going to take this one and put it back here just so we don't confuse them. You're going to turn this way. And again, we're going to cut in half at 1½. I'm just going to do one at a time so I don't mess it up. So this should measure 1½ by 1. There's 1, 2. And 1½ by 1. So there's 4 measuring that size. And we don't need to do anything with the last one. So the last one should measure 3 because we cut it at 3. And 1¾ And that's it for the designer paper. Now, let me see. I'm just going to try to scooch this over just so I leave myself enough room to work. And hopefully you guys got all of the cuts in place. Let me know if you did not so I can repeat. Oh, I moved it over just too much, a little too much. I can't see it in the camera. Paula, what is the colored area on your ruler? Oh, you probably missed some of my last 2 videos, and I explained that. This is hard to see when you don't have a colored section. So all I did is I cut a strip of cardstock 1/4 inch wide, and I flipped my blade over and I glued it to the underside. See right here, that's just a piece of cardstock 11 inches long. I glued it in place. So look how much easier it is to see the numbers. Let me see if I can go a little bit closer. They just pop a little bit more so you can see them better. And you can do any light colored, you can do white even, any light colored cardstock. Okay, let's start out with card number 1. Now you're going to need a card base, of course. This is card number 1. And I'm going to actually tell you the measurements of the pieces that you need. Now I had you cut, I think it was 3 of these. So you need 1 of these. And that is from the Label Me Lovely punch. We needed 3, but you can use any shape you want. So you need 1 of those. This was a 1/2 inch strip of basic white. And then the Evening Evergreen, the one that you're using, should measure 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. And we're going to dig out one of our 6 panels that we embossed already. And then you're also going to need a scrap of the soft succulent for stamping and punching. So let's go ahead. I did not score these ahead of time, so you guys can score along with me. So score your 11 by 4 1/4 inch card base at 5½. And we're going to fold that on the score line. And the first thing we're going to glue down is the embossed layer. Now, I wanted to bring that close if you guys don't have the bark embossing folder. Look how deep that is, and it looks like bark. It really does. We're going to glue that in place. So that's going to go right on the card base. Let me make sure I get this right side with the fold on the top. And then I have a scrap piece of ribbon here. I want to see if that will work. We're going to wrap that around the card front and tie a bow. It's going to go right in the middle and way, oh, I should bring the card in, way off to the left. Now, let me see. I'm hoping this one's big enough so I can use it up. It was just a loose piece I had hanging around and I want to use it up. Oops, I just lost the end. Let me try that again. I gotta be careful because I only have a little bit to work with. I think I can make it work. Now I just need to pull the tails. There. And we're going to trim the ends at an angle. I think we need to do 6 bows today like this. You're really going to be really an expert at creating bows. Now I want this right in the middle. And our next step, we're going to actually be using the 4 little rectangles right here. If you layered your, I want to put this back where it belongs. So the ones right here I removed, all 4 of these. And you can use whichever side you want. I think, I want to see how good that's going to look. Yeah, I think I like this side better. Okay, so we're going to glue all 4 of these. You guys, I have to tell you, my dog is laying right by me on the floor here, so hopefully he's going to be good. I'm so used to having Dave around, and he takes care of the dog while I video. Well, now I'm all alone, so I'm hoping he's going to behave. So I'm leaving about 1/4 of an inch in the center, and then around there's a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, so I'm hoping he's not gonna bark or howl. You know, the beagle howl. Okay, that's all we're gonna do to that one. And did I glue that flat? Yes. We're gonna glue this flat. Going to go right in the center. So I need to put my ribbon off to the left side a little bit more. And that's going to go right there. Oh, Karen is saying she's late to the party. We're still on card 1, Karen, so you didn't miss very much. Okay, we got that on there. Now we're going to add this little bumblebee layer. I'm going to center that. And now we got to do some stamping. Dixie says she's just watching and hopes to make this card later. Dixie, we're making 6 cards today. I hope you do all 6 with the one sheet wonder. Okay, now we're going to need the soft succulent. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. See this little eyeball right here? I'm going to create that with a punch. There's 2 little circles right there. And I did forget to list the evening evergreen just for that little tiny eyeball. So if you don't have it handy, you can always add it later. That's the only, I think that's the only piece we're going to do with the scrap. Oh, look, I'm messing this all up here. That goes like that. Okay, let's go ahead and stamp the turtle. If you're not using a turtle, whatever you're using. So we're going to stamp the body first. And then we're going to stamp the detail for the shell. It's going to go right inside. Whoop, that one came out really blotchy. I pressed too hard. Too many Cheerios this morning. I think I juiced up my ink pad. It's too juicy. I'm not going to press so hard this time. There we go. Okay, so now we need to bring the punch in to punch out the turtle. So there's the first turtle. Now I'm going to bring in the scrap of basic white and the evening evergreen. We're going to do the large eyeball with the white. There's that. And then we're going to do the little tiny one right here with the evergreen. And then I just wanted to do one this way so you guys can see what else you can do with the punch. Okay, now we're going to do the white right in the middle. I'm just going to add a little dot. And we're going to add that little tiny green. I should have brought my Take Your Pick tool. Look how cute that is with the little eyeball. So that's one option, or you can just leave it the way it is when it's stamped. Next, we're going to stamp the sentiments, which says you are turtly loved. And we're going to trim the ends with the banner's pickup punch. If you don't have the punch, you can do it by hand. That just goes right through there. I always flip it over to make sure it's centered. Now we're going to do the other side. I'm trying not to put my fingers on the lettering in case it's still a little wet. Okay, there's number 2. And now we can glue both of these pieces with Stampin' Dimensionals. So yeah, you can do the eyeballs, leave them the way they stamp, or you can do the second layer, second and third layer with the punch. Okay, I'm gonna glue the turtle in place first. He's gonna go right here. Isn't he cute? Then we're going to glue the banner. I'm going to glue that right below the legs, leaving about 1/4 inch space. And there's card number 1. Okay, I'm just going to regroup. I need to get a wipe because I just made a mess on my counter. Now we're going to do card number 2. And you are going to need a pair of scissors for card number 2. Okay, let's put this aside. Dixie says you could use tiny Google eyes. Yes, those would be very cute on the turtle. So did you guys know that those 2 little circles were for the eyes? That's why I thought I'd show it to you, just in case you didn't know that. Okay, card number 2, let me peek. Okay, we're gonna need, again, one of the embossed panels. I think it's this one. No, it's not this one. Okay, the designer paper on the lower right is the one that you need next. I'm gonna flip it over this time. You need the stitched rectangle, and if you did not have the stitched rectangle, this actually measures 4 3/8 by 3. So you need that. And a card base. Now the stamps on this one is the little heart cluster, Friends Forever, and of course the 2 turtle images. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and score again at 5.5. And fold on the score line. Oh, Linda, you're still waiting on your punch. This one has been very popular. So it is still on back order. Hopefully it'll go out of back order soon. Okay, I'm gonna bring in card number 2 to show you. This is card number 2. Look how cute. We are going to have to cut this by hand. It's very easy. You know me, I love to cut. Okay, again, we're going to glue the embossed panel first. Same thing, you're going to center that over the card base. I'm just going to hold off. Am I going too fast? Is anybody behind? Hopefully you guys are caught up, for those of you that are stamping. I'm going to go ahead and clean my stamp so I don't have that mess with the shell again. I think it's best to clean these in between. Okay, now we're going to take the rectangle and you're going to glue the designer paper to the bottom. And I'm going to use side number 2 this time. You guys can use the same side if you want, or you can switch it up by flipping it over. Okay, before we glue this in place, I want to add the ribbon. And this time I'm going to tie the bow to the right-hand side. I love this open weave ribbon. It's so easy to work with. It's soft and it just bends easy. And this is it's the 5 in colors. I just need to make my loops just a little smaller. And I'm going to trim the ends. And we're going to make that go all the way to the right. Okay, so that's ready. Before we glue it in place, I want to do the turtle and the stamping. So again, we're going to bring in the soft succulent and stamp with the evergreen. I'm looking at my cards. I think everything is stamped with evergreen on the turtles. Okay, so here's my turtle. But this time I'm going to do the shell on the bumblebee. Okay, well, let me go ahead. Where's my punch? I'm going to punch this guy out. Okay, now, where's my shell? I just had it. Okay, again, I don't want to press too hard because I know my ink pad is juicy, so I'm just laying it there and I'm going to tap on it. Nope. I shouldn't have inked my ink pad. Okay, that's better. So now we're going to cut this out and I'm going to leave a little bit of the bumblebee showing on the outside edges. I'm just going to follow all of these little details on the shell. And if you don't like to cut, then you can just do it on this one. But I like having the 2 layers. I think it looks cool. See, I just kind of follow that and then I go up in the middle a little bit between each of the patterns. Look how easy that was. No complaining. Okay, now we're going to glue this with dimensionals. I'm just going to put 2 there. And then glue this right in the middle. Look how cute. Look how cute that is. It changes the whole turtle. We're going to add another layer of dimensionals. And remember, there's always 2 sides to your cardstock. Nobody's going to know that this was my first boo-boo, right? You just flip it over and stamp over what you did the first time. Now this guy's going to go right above the ribbon. And then we're going to do the sentiment next. Now this one is Forever Friends. And he's going to go right above the turtle. Oh, perfect. I like it when it's perfect. Bumblebee ink for the little cluster of hearts. I'm messing up my designer paper again. I just can't leave it alone. Okay, cluster of hearts. And I just did one on each side of the sentiment. That's totally adorable. And then we're just gonna glue this. Oh, you know what? I think this moved on me. I need to add, I'm gonna add liquid glue because you know what? All the bumps on the embossing, I had plenty of glue there, but when I shuffled my cards, I must have caught it and it moved on me. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing with this one. Most times when I glue something over all of these embossing bumps, I use liquid glue. It just seems to stay better. Okay, there's card number 2. You're gonna have to tell me which one's your favorite by the time I'm done. How's everyone doing? Oh, Iona, you like the shell idea a lot with the different colors. I like it too. I'm doing another one like that too later. Okay, I'm going to bring in card number 3. This is card number 3. The turtle is white this time. And we're going to be using the 3 little 1-inch squares. We've got the basic white, that's 3/4 of an inch. Let me get my ruler. 3/4 of an inch by 3.5. We've got the 3 little bumblebee squares that are 1.5 by 1.5. We've got evening evergreen, 4 3/4 by 2, and the same card base. So Karen likes card number 2. You might change your mind by the time we get all 6 of these done. Okay, let's go ahead and score at 5.5 again. And fold on the score line. Oh, and we need another one of these embossed panels. Okay, so this is everything. Let me move this over. This is everything we need. So we're going to glue this in place on the card base. And this is card number 3 if you're just tuning in. Card number 3 of our One Sheet Wonder. Okay, this layer is going to go on the embossing, so I'm going to bring in the liquid glue. And this is going to be glued about 1/2 inch from the left side on the soft succulent. Okay, I'm just going to hold off. Oh, Iona's saying she loves the 6x6 One Sheet Wonder. I do too. You can make so many cards with just a 6x6 inch piece. We're making 6 cards with just that little tiny piece. Okay, now I gotta decide. I think I'm gonna go with this side again, only because I should put this card closer so you guys can see it. You could even switch them around so you get both patterns. Maybe I'll do that this time. Let me flip this way and this way. I'm just going to use the liquid glue. Remember, these are your cards. You do them the way you want. I am not the boss of your cards. I'm just giving you some inspiration and you do it the way you like. So there's the squares. And then we need to flip them over and add dimensionals. I like it when I can grab two at the same time and just plop them on there. We're going to be halfway there after this card. Oh, you guys, you know what? I got to show you something really cool. I hope Mary is here. Mary Ellsbury sent me something in the mail. So you know all these little pesky little pieces of paper. She sent me this little neat tool from Amazon, I believe. It has a little power button right there. And listen. Get a little fan. It's going to pick up all these little pieces. Oops, I dropped one. I dropped a couple. I think as I put it on its side. Look. Oh, two more. She said it works really well for glitter and embossing powder. Isn't that the neatest? Okay, where was I? Did I take all of these off? Yes, I did. Now, when I space these out, they're a little bit taller than the evening evergreen. I left 1/4 inch. So you're going to see that you're going to have to go a little bit above, like that. Do the same thing with the bottom one. So I'm leaving about 1/8 inch. And then let's do the middle one. Oh, I like that with the two patterns. Okay, then we need the banner and we need our basic white. Oh, let's do the ribbon first. I'm going to do the ribbon. That's going to go on the bottom square. But yeah, Mary said that works really well. You know how when you do embossing, especially embossing powder and glitter, it works really well to pick that off your workspace. I don't know what it's called, but I know it came from Amazon. All these neat little nifty tools that they come up with for stampers. It's the neatest thing. Okay, there's my bow. Over on the left. Iona, I'm not sure what it's called. Maybe if Mary is here, she can tell you. There's nothing on it, and I threw away the packaging. And then what happens, you just lift it, and look, it's got the little compartment in there. Look how much is in there. And then you just empty it and put this back on, and you're ready to go. Okay. Now we're going to do a white turtle on this one. Again, I'm going to clean my stamp first. Both stamps. Evening evergreen. There's the turtle. I'm going to do very lightly on this one. Oh, he's perfect this time. Where's my punch? Right here. So I'm going to punch him out. And then we need to do the sentiment. Now this one is the happy belated birthday. Sorry, I was slow. It's going to go right in the center. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the ends before I do the little hearts, just so I'll know where to stamp. So again, I'm using the Banner's Pick a Punch. I hope they never retire this punch because I love it. Okay, we're going to bring in the bumblebee along with the little hearts. I'm going to stamp right over the evergreen. And then we're going to glue this. Okay, now what I did here is I glued this flat because we have a lot of height. So I'm only adding dimensionals on this side. The same with the turtle. I just added a dimensional under the head and right here, and the rest is flat. So on the head, right here, and then two, or just one. Oh, I gotta make sure this is facing the right way. I think I added two right there. And then we're gonna add some glue on the left-hand side on both pieces. And that just makes up for the height. Did I peel this off? No, I did not. Okay, and that's gonna go right here. And the turtle is going to be right over the ribbon. I'm gonna move the ribbon up so it's in the middle of that square and over to the right a little bit more. And then the turtle's gonna go right on the ribbon. There we go. So there's card number 3. Halfway there, everyone. Thanks for staying in tune with me. Okay, let's get ready for card number 4. Now this one is going to use the 2 designer papers that measure the same size. We have a label, and then we have the evening evergreen, and this one measures 3 3/4 by 1.5. Okay, let me put this right here. And then of course we need a panel that's already embossed. We're going to score again at 5.5. So you guys like the cards so far. I'm so glad. And they all have turtles on them, every single one. The last one is going to use the little tiny turtle images. Okay, we're going to fold on the score line. Again, we're going to glue the embossed panel first. So did you guys get your celebration orders in yet? I should have brought my little chart with me. So there's 3 products in celebration that they think are going to sell out. And if they do, they won't bring them back. So make sure you get your orders in. Okay, next we're going to glue the evening evergreen. Oh, wait a minute. I should have used the liquid glue on that one. Just going to go right in the middle. And then we're going to glue the designer papers. I'm going to add liquid glue on that only because they're kind of halfway on the embossing and halfway on the cardstock in the middle. So you can see here that I left a 1/4 inch space in between both papers. I'm going to use this side this time. I'm not going to press on there until I'm sure I get them in the right spot. Okay, I'm happy with that. So those are just side by each vertically. I hope I have enough ribbon to finish my, yeah, I do. Okay, now we're going to add ribbon around the center, right over that spacing. And it's going to be tied on the right. Whoops. Good thing nobody was sitting there. I just threw that ribbon. If you guys don't like to make bows, you can always do knots too. Bows take a lot of practice. Okay, there's my bow. I'm going to make sure it's in the middle. Right there. Now we're going to do the stamping. Now this time, let's see, where's my stamp? It's time to celebrate with the evening evergreen. I'm going to do at the top. And I need to clean my stamps. It's so funny when I'm stamping and I just throw everything. I've got the shell was over on this side and I've got the turtle over on this side. Who knows what I'm thinking when I just chuck everything off to the side. And then I can't find it, right? Okay, we're gonna need soft succulent and basic white. The turtle itself is on soft succulent. And the shell is on the white. And yes, we need to hand cut this one also. I'm going to do the turtle first. We're so spoiled when we have punches and dies. There's the turtle. This one's really easy. You kind of just slapped everything on there. Okay, again, I'm going to cut around the detail and go towards where they meet and just make it a little bumpy. Make sure you take pictures of your cards and show us what you did. I'm anxious to see if you used something different than the turtles, what you came up with. I try to make the cards so that you guys can use anything that you have on hand if you don't have what I have. Okay, there's our turtle shell. We're going to glue that with dimensionals. We got 2 more cards to go after this one. And we're going to glue this flat. And because I'm gluing over ribbon, I'm going to use liquid glue. It's going to go about a 1/2 inch on the evergreen layer. And the turtle with dimensionals. And just make sure when you glue the turtle in place that he's not overlapping the sentiment. Okay, and there's card number 4 with the 2 different patterns. Okay, let me bring in card number 5. We have a card base, we have the soft succulent embossed layer, another one of the punch shape. This is just a scrap of Cajun Craze, and then evening evergreen, 5 inches by 1. And this is card number 5. This time we have 2 pieces left. We're going to use the one on the left. Right here. I want to see how many I have using the orange pattern. Okay, not that many. So I'm going to flip this over to this side. So there's that one. Let's go ahead and do the turtle. Oh, I did do another turtle with a different eyeball. I know what I did this time though. Okay, let's do the Cajun Craze turtle first. And where's my, okay, here's my stamp. And this one, and then we need the one that says happy birthday. Okay, so this turtle is actually, it's still the evening evergreen, but we're stamping on Cajun Craze this time, just to mix it up. There's my shell. And I did the eyeball a little different on this one. Let me see if I can grab a scrap piece of paper. Just so I don't get it on my counter. Oh, look. Oh, you guys, next week I'm going to be featuring the snowy white velvet paper. I think I'm going to do 4 cards for you next week. Okay, this time what I want to do, I want to use the eyeball from the stamp. As you can see, this is not using the evergreen this time. I'm just going to actually ink up the head because I just need the eyeball. I'm going to put that in the punch. So it's going to show, I'm showing you 3 different ways to do the eyeball. So this one is punched, look. Very tiny. And let's go ahead and punch the turtle. So you can do the eyeball. Let's review. You can do the eyeball, leaving it the way it is on the stamped image. Or you can do a separate one like I did with a different color cardstock. Or you can do by layering the 2 little circles on the punch. So 3 different ways. So let's go ahead and glue that on. And let's see, I want his eye to face that way. Okay, now we need to score. Again at 5.5. Now, even though all of your card bases are the same size, this one, instead of opening this way, it opens sideways. But we had 6 cardstocks for card bases, all the same size. It just makes it easier when they're all the same. Okay, so now we're going to glue the panel, the embossed panel. And then we only have 1 more left to go. Okay, that's the embossed panel. Next is the evening evergreen. Again, we're, oops, I shouldn't have glued that down because the ribbon goes around that. I think I can, yeah, I can still take it off. We're going to glue this with liquid glue about 1 inch from the bottom. Make sure that's straight. Whoops. I need to trim the end a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to actually glue the designer paper, again with liquid glue. I hate to cover these pretty flowers. Excuse me, these pretty flowers. That's going to be about 3/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch from the bottom and the side. Actually, I'm going to center it. That's what I was doing. Now we can go ahead and put the ribbon around. Sorry if I made you glue that ahead of time. It's a lot easier to do the ribbon around first. Let me see if I got enough there. Yeah, I do. So you guys, I told you, you're going to be bow experts by the time you're done all 6 of these cards, since they all have bows on them. Okay, now we're going to trim the ribbon. Now we can glue it to the card front. I'm just going to add a little bit more glue because we get some on the ribbon. Make sure that's centered, which it is. Make sure this is facing the right way. Okay, now we've got our turtle. I'm gonna glue the turtle to the label first and then do the hearts before I glue it to the panel. We need dimensionals. Oh, Karen, you like the Cajun Craze turtle. It's cute. You know, in the world of making cards, you can have your little critters any color you want. I'm going to put this so it's a little bit lower just to allow myself some room for the hearts. And where is my heart stamp? I lost my heart stamp. Here it is. And we've got Bumblebee for the hearts. Now, did I glue this flat? Nope. I glued it with dimensionals. I'm going to add dimensionals on the top and on the bottom because the ribbon's going to be going across the middle. My cards keep falling. They're getting too high. Okay, that's going to go right about here. Make sure you're looking at your flat edge to make sure it's nice and straight. And the last part for this card is to stamp on basic white. And we're actually going to cut that by hand. If I can find my little trimmer. I'm just going to cut that as close as I can. Just eyeballing. I want to separate these two words. And then I want to glue them with dimensionals. Whew, we're almost done, everyone. I'm going to glue the birthday first because it's the closest to the evergreen layer. We're going to glue that with leaving a little bit of space. Whoop, that's a little crooked, isn't it? And then we're going to glue the happy over to the left a little more. And there's card number 5. One more to go. I hope you guys are catching up, okay, the ones of you that are stamping with me. So we have one piece of designer paper left. Let me bring all the little stamps because we're using the little tiny turtles this time. We've got the piece of white. Let me get my ruler. Okay, basic white that measures 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. The last piece of designer paper. Bumblebee 4 1/2 by 2. Our last embossed panel. I'm running out of room here. And here's the last card. I wanted to do one using the little turtles. They're so cute. So our last card base, we need to score at 5 1/2. So all of your card bases measure the same and they're all scored the same. Last one. Okay, we're going to glue the embossed panel. The next step, we're going to flag this piece to look like a banner. Very simple to do with scissors. You're going to find your middle, go up about 3/4 of an inch, make a snip. And then you're just going to start at the corner and go up to your snip. Same thing on the other side. Very easy. And that's going to be glued next. Just fix my cards. We're going to glue that with liquid glue. Wow, I've been on for an hour. It feels like 20 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun. Okay, there's the banner, about 1/4 of an inch from the top of the So Succulent layer. Then we're going to add the designer paper, and I think I'll use the flowered side this time. Liquid glue. Go down just a tad. Oh, this card is so easy. And now you guys can say, yay, one more bow. One more bow. And that's going to go about 1 inch from the bottom of the designer paper. And to the left. And seriously, this ribbon is the easiest ribbon to work with. I like to make my loops really loose. Or, not loose. I was thinking my ribbon was loose. I like to make my loops really smaller. I don't like big loops on my bows. Okay, there's the last one. I'm going to put that where it needs to go. Have you guys ever tied a bow and you wrap your ribbon around the whole card base, like around here, and then it's stuck and you can't open it? I've done that before. Okay, now all we have left to do is to stamp this cute little image of the turtles. I'm going to bring in the white. And we have 2 turtles and they're facing in opposite directions. So we're going to make them go close to each other. You're going to go off the cardstock a little bit. You're going to be missing the tail, but that's okay. You want them close because you want the little hearts in the middle. We get the little shell. Let me put this more in the middle here. So we're going to give them both some detailed shells. Next is the little grass. And I kind of went off on the sides. Put one down here. Just add grass wherever you want. Look how cute and easy that was. Okay, next, before I do the hearts, I'm going to do the sentiment if I can find it. You know what? Did I not take that one out? Oh no, I can't find it. Wait a minute. Is this it? I have one missing. I'm going to have to use a different one because I don't see it. I'm going to use, it's here somewhere. I don't want to use Hello Little one because that should be just one turtle. I'll just use the Friends one again. Of course, I'm going to find it as soon as I put this on paper. You are turtly loved. Didn't I use that already once? Yeah, I don't know where it is. Okay, let's do the Friends Forever again. You get 2 turtles there, so they're friends forever. And we're going to do a heart cluster right in between them. Just like that. And then this one, look how cute that is. This one's going to be glued with dimensionals. I've seen a lot of cards where people will take like the big turtle and stamp it and then stamp a little one on top. It's so cute. I'm going to bring all of the cards in and you guys can tell me which one's your favorite. Okay, that's going to go right in the middle, but I need to push that off a little bit more so I can center this. Okay, let me move everything over. So this was card, the last one we just did. Let me see if I can fit them all in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And guess what? I'll pick a name. Somebody's going to win 6 cards. I'll announce the winner tomorrow. Just from all the comments. I always pick a name from just all the comments that you guys put down. So the more you comment, the more chances you have of winning. So which one is your favorite? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let me know which one's your favorite. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. And again, next week, I'm going to be demonstrating using the snowy white velvet. I got 4 cards I'm going to show you, different techniques to use on the velvet. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone, and I can't wait to see photos of your cards. Have a good week.